Farmers today are facing rising costs, volatile markets, and extreme weather. The Better Way to Farm podcast digs into strategies to help you take control of farm inputs and maximize profit so your farm can thrive for generations. Remember to take advantage of our free resources at abetterwaytofarm.com. Now, from America's Heartland, here's your host.
Would you like to see products in action? I know, it's been an interesting year. Prices are down, inputs keep going up. So let's talk about the opportunities to do something different. In particular, what I want to talk about is in this environment, we have a whole lot of people out here who are coming out and they're saying, listen, we've got this great idea. You can put on 2 ounces of this and it will replace this many dollars worth of whatever. And we've seen this happen before when prices got really good back there in the after 2010 sometime. We saw a lot of companies who weren't involved in agriculture decide to get involved in agriculture. Primary reason, because they felt like you guys had some money. You know, there's 2 times when the cockroaches come out of the woodwork. Number 1, they come out when prices are really good. And they come up with all kinds of bright ideas because they think you're willing to try something. Time number 2 is when they sense desperation. When they see this $3.86 corn and this $9.86 soybeans, and then we get the word that DAP's going up $155 a ton, urea's going up, everything is going up, potash is expected to go up at least $50 to $55 a ton. And they're talking about tacking on another $25 to $50 an acre in input cost. And we know that's not going to fly. And so we've got to figure some things out. But what we have to work on is to say, okay, what are we going to do here that's proven? What are we going to do that isn't something that's just come out of, I love a good theory, I do, but the fact of the matter is, guys, a lot of theories never translate. Here, we have had all kinds of people come to us with all kinds of products. We've done well over 1,000 plots. We have tested hundreds and hundreds of products, and a lot of those products had a tremendous theory behind them. One product in particular, it was $20 an acre. We tested it the first year, we got 0 yield increase. We went right back in the same place the second year, got 0 yield increase. We're into this thing $40 an acre, and this was back in like 2006. They came back to us and said, well, you got to use it 3 years in a row before you really see the effect. And we went back and we tested it, and that was fine. After 3 years and $60 an acre, we could get 0 yield response. Was the theory good? Absolutely. Did I want it to work? Oh, yeah. But we don't come to market unless we've already tested something extensively. Guys, I'll tell you right now, we're working on a product I am super duper excited about, and I want it to work. But I promise you this, until we have quantitative data showing how well it works, showing what we believe to be the ROI that you can reasonably expect, you're never going to see it. Because we're going to test it. They don't even have a name right now. We've got multiple people out testing this. They have no idea what they're testing. They just know they're testing the experimental product number 206. And we're looking at that to see what'll happen. But guys, in this time, we do have opportunities. You guys know, I've said before that as I understand it, I don't speak Chinese, but as I understand it, the word for crisis in Chinese, when you translate it into English, it actually translates into the word opportunity. So in the middle of a crisis, there's opportunity. Why is there opportunity here? Well, right now, we have to figure out how it is that we're going to do something to save some money. We're going to figure out how to grow a crop for less input dollars. And the fact of the matter is, what we need to be doing is dialing this in right now and saying, okay, how can we save some money, but not at the expense of losing yield? I've seen people who've went to a really low dollar input on a per acre basis and raise their cost per bushel because they didn't get the yield that they thought they were going to get, and their cost per bushel actually went up. That won't work. I've seen people who were going to try and yield their way out of it, and their deal was, we'll do yield at any expense. And they got a tremendous yield, but their cost per bushel was prohibitive. Again, not going to work. But then we get the people who say, how do we dial this in? What's this sweet spot? It's kind of like nitrogen use. We got the people who are, some of the people in retail, some of the farmers are still thinking, if I'm going to grow 300 bushel corn, I got to have 400 pounds of nitrogen. Wrong. Not even close. As a matter of fact, you guys know that we believe, and there is all kinds of statistical data out here to prove that the overuse of nitrogen cuts yield and therefore raises the cost per bushel a lot. What is that sweet spot for nitrogen? You've got to figure that out on your farm. We like to see people getting into that 0.6 to 0.7 pounds per bushel, but you've got to start working towards it. If you're doing 1.2 right now, it's a process of getting there. And the soil types and the organic matter all make a difference on how we can get away with that, how we manage it. Are we doing it in a single shot? Are we doing multiple shots? All those things weigh into how far down can we take this nitrogen utilization. We also want to find the sweet spot on spending total dollars. Is the sweet spot a really low number and we're willing to sacrifice yield because we can make money at that per bushel cost? And I'm not sure that we're going to lowball our way out of this. Rents are too high, expenses are too much. Every time I go to the park, when I was a kid and something went bang, you're like, oh man, I hope that don't cost $100. And now when we're out here working and something goes bang, you're like, I hope that doesn't cost $1,000, or I hope that doesn't cost $5,000, or I hope that doesn't cost $10,000. It's a whole different environment. And a lot of our fixed expenses are so high that we don't have the luxury of dropping back to a real low ball yield. And we've got to think about what that looks like. Conversely, we can't be trying to gun for 400 bushel corn and having $6 a bushel in it either. And so we want to make sure that we're doing the right thing here and dialing this in. Where's the sweet spot? How do we find how much it is that we're going to spend? And the fact of the matter is, it's going to take some trial and error. It's also helpful if we have a coach. Anytime I want to learn how to do something new, there's about 3 or 4 ways I can do it. Number one, I can always go to YouTube. It's amazing the number of things that I can figure out how to do because somebody somewhere did a YouTube video on it. I'm not sure I want YouTube to be my only source of knowledge when making financial decisions for my farm. Number 2, you have the local house of knowledge, also known as the coffee shop or wherever the people hang out at. And that's a group of people who will tell you why everything in the world won't work. They know it absolutely won't work. All right, there's that group. We have the third option. We can go out here and just do trial and error. And I see people doing that, trying to do what we talk about. And I get calls from people who go, well, I listened to you on the video and I did this, this, and this, and it didn't work. Well, they were doing the trial and making the errors. Because if you're going to hire a coach, you can't just do part of what they say. If we're going to get in shape and the coach says you got to change your diet and you got to do some exercise and there's some stretches that you got to do and you go, well, I'm willing to stretch and exercise, but I'm not changing my diet. I'm stuck on 12 Mountain Dews a day and I really like cake after every meal. Probably not going to get where you want to go. Okay. When people are listening to us and they're trying to do what we're doing, I love that, but they got to hear the whole story. We had one story this year. Someone heard the idea that we like boron, and we do. And they decided that they would trial and error some boron, and they put a bunch of boron in the seed trench on their soybeans. And guys, they were heavy on the trial and really heavy on the error. They had to replant every single acre. Guys, when you listen to the coach, you got to take notes through the whole thing. We know boron never goes on the seed. We know that that's going to smoke the germ, even in corn, even in wheat. We don't want to put boron on the seed. And so we want to make sure that we get the coach. Guys, if we're going to do this, what if we could find somebody who, instead of doing trial and error, what if we said, hey guys, come with us. We've got 33 years experience, 33 growing seasons, and understand, I know people who've been in the industry 33 years, and they have the exact same experience 33 consecutive times. That's not 33 years experience. 33 years experience is running over 1,000 plots. 33 years of experience is working with other people and helping them test things. We're going back through and we've got a whole new group of people coming in right now, young people getting started, and they're retesting things we've already done. Why? Because your experience is your experience, and you can't hire experience. You have to have the experience. And so we're going to have these people running these tests again so they too can see what happens when we put too much starter on the seed. What happens when we put boron on the seed? What happens when we don't follow the soil test? But guys, what if, just what if, you could find somebody who could say, we've got 33 years of experience. We have intentionally done things wrong to figure out how to break it. We know what happens when we do this, this, and this. We know why this works. We know why that doesn't. What if you could find somebody And I see these people all the time trying to dial in micronutrients, and it's by trial and error. And it takes forever. You might figure out a little bit on zinc, and then you still got to figure out boron and manganese and copper and all those different things. And everybody in your ear is trying to tell you they got everything you need in one jug, and that's just hooey. All right, I'm trying to be as nice as I can here, guys, but we're in an environment financially where we don't have the luxury of using the try some and thinking that's a scientific method. It is not a scientific method, okay? The fact of the matter is, guys, what if you could take a soil test and it would dial in and tell you exactly how many gallon of which starter fertilizer should you use? How many ounces to the acre of different micronutrients should you be putting on each field? Because it will not be the same. It's a field by field basis. What if we could tell you you need this much starter and you need some additional dry and tell you how much? All of it dialed in by science, by studies, by year after year after year of research and figuring out how to make this work. Guys, you have that opportunity. We would welcome you to work with us, but here's the thing. We're not coming to you with some new idea that came out of Silicon Valley that a bunch of people with billions of dollars have decided how to invest their billions to make more billions. We're coming to you with people who are suntanned and sunburnt, people whose hands are calloused, people who know how to run the tractor, people who know how to do the work, people who know how to read the soil test. And we're coming at you with not theories, but with facts. And here's the opportunity. Here's the real opportunity I want to talk about today. But the fact of the matter is, we have a bunch of field days coming up. Guys, it's zero obligation on your part. You can just go to these field days and you can see the products in action and you can talk to people there who it might be their first year, it might be their third year, it might be their 20th year. And they're going to be there and talk to you about how the system has worked and how they have changed what they're doing and how they have been able to flourish in a time like this. So I'm going to read these dates off for you and then I'll see if Karen wants to post them also later. But field day season is upon us, and your first opportunity, guys, is going to be August the 15th, Castalia, Iowa. August the 16th, Erie, Illinois. August the 21st, St. Genevieve, Missouri. August the 22nd, Oshkosh, Wisconsin. August 23rd, Gilmore City, Iowa. September 10th, Chamberlain, South Dakota. September 12th, Martville, New York. September 13th, Milton, Iowa. Guys, our team would love to meet you, to talk to you. But if you're interested, reach out here, but you let us know. I expect to add one more opportunity for us to all get together up in Michigan, and we'll get back to you on that. But that's going to be probably September the 15th in Charlotte, I think. But we'll get back to you on that. But guys, my heart is such right now. Kayla and I were talking. She's got a guy over in Indiana that we're going to go see, and we get the stories of what's going on in people's lives. And what we want is to make a difference. What we want is to come to you and sit down and partner with you and come up with a plan that allows you to grow the best crop for the least amount of money per bushel. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We know that it's going to be a big fall. I want everybody to stay safe as they're getting ready working on those combines and doing what they need to do. But we just want to encourage you, let our team meet you at one of these field days, and we'll look forward to working together. Thank you for listening, and we really do hope you're having a better day.